Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to the hopefully elect that is pushing this word in the four corners, the highways and byways. Once again, all praises, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Makakadash. Alright? Hey, this lesson gonna be titled something like, Yes, we are the Doomsday Prophets. Alright? Because, really and truly does what the Most High put us, in this time to do right now, is to usher in, the day of doom. Alright? As the scripture talks about in 2 Ezra 7. Right? Hey, but the first thing I want to do is look up the definition, all right, or read the definition of this word doom. It says, Middle English, doom, a law, a statute, decree, administration of justice, all right, and who is administrate, justice? A judge, all right, it says judgment, justice, equity, righteousness, right? Ultimately, a judgment is come from a judge, right? And what the precept say in Isaiah 1 and 26, it says, and I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning, all right? So, as long you being counted amongst the number 144,000, all right, the election, you're a doomsday prophet, all right, or the prophet of doom, however they put it out, however Trump said it, all right. It says, back on the definition, it says, discernment. Actually, let me just read this part. It says, Old Saxon, Old Frisian, Old Norse, Old High German, judgment, decree. There goes the word judgment there again, right? It says Gothic dumbs, discernment, distinction. Alright? Hey, and the elect is the only men with true discernment, Alright, because we receive this, honest education, right, which teach us how to discern. That teach us how to discern aright. All right. These people in this world that have that dishonest education, they're taught how to discern a wrong. Right? So they could never be the true judges. All right. Right. It says distinction, perhaps from pi root, to set, place, put, do. Right? Yeah, basically it's the what? Execute, to do, to set judgment, all right, to set law, all right, which which is supposed to be the nation of Israel. All right, we were supposed to be given, these people, the laws. All right, and that's why the Most High say He's gonna set us aright as at the first. Reading on, it said, doom as a verb. It said to judge, pass judgment on. All right, meaning condemn, to punish. Right. Hey, and those talking about the elect right through. All right. Let me just read this. And this is Jeremiah 16 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, I will send forth many fishers, said Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after I will send forth many hunters." Right? And let me say this. It actually takes discernment to fish. All right? It says, "And after I will send forth many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain." Right? And that's it right there. The judgment going forth. Because what a hunters do is actually, basically put the catch to death. Right? That's the context of this. Hey, and in order for you to be a judge, you need to have discernment. All right? So it goes on and on. All right? Maybe back to Isaiah 1 and 26. It says, "And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterwards thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city." Right? Because when the elect purge the wickedness from this place, then it's going to be known. All right, the fame is going to be given back to Israel, to Yashar Allah, all right, as the judges of the earth, as the true judges. All right, that righteous and faithful city. Right. This is 2nd Ezra 7, verse 43. It says, "But let me see if I can read. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 7 and verse 43. It says, "But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality to come." Yeah, it can. Let me see, actually, real quick, right here. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9, it says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it." All right? Now, when you read this back, it says, 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 43, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. All right? And the beginning of the immortality for it to come. All right? So they're letting you know what? Let me read this again. It says, let me read from verse 8. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born of him, Jacob's and first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. All right? When you put those, when you break it down, it basically letting you know that, hey, the elect of Yashar Allah, of Jacob, of Israel, is going to bring about the doom of Esau. All right? And the immortality that is to come is for Israel. All right? Hey, and besides that, we just doing the job that the Most High called us here to do. All right? That's the job that the Most High gave us. This is Jeremiah 28 and verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries and against great kingdom of war and of evil and of pestilence. Right? So the prophets of old was, prophets of doom. All right? Because they speak the judgment of, what is to come. For example, Nineveh. All right? When Nineveh was to go down, the Most High sent a prophet. When Sodom and Gomorrah was to go down, the Most High revealed it to the prophet. All right? And there are many other cases. All right? So we just doing the job that the Most High called us here to do, which is to be the prophets of doom. So if you got a problem with it, then take it up with the Most High. All right? So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and sanitation to the hopefully elect. So shalom.